Welcome in, everybody. It is a little after 2 o'clock. It's the Bullpen. I am Tony Mack. That is Tricky Ricky. We
Hello.
are live here
sorry.
at – no, you're good.
Hey now.
We're live here at Toyota Field in Madison, where we, of course, are getting ready for our baseball season. The Trash Pandas start playing baseball here. 8 days. That's a week plus one. A week plus one is when Trash Pandas start playing. But, again, we're getting the team ramped up and ready to go. The front office here trying to get ready for the baseball season.
You want to know how I know that you have a little kid? It's because you get really excited about basic math. That's a week plus one. That's full week plus one. See, that's 7 days in a week. You add one, that's what we got.
Hey, man.
Am I right?
I think, yeah. I think so. I'm doing my best here.
No,
all right?
it's good. Yeah, I like it. I'm just saying, like, I feel like I can sense it now. Like, only a father with a newborn could appreciate simple mathematics like that.
I do. Well, I think maybe a part of the excitement comes from the fact that I could do that math. That's math I can do.
I do like a good solvable math problem.
I am not looking forward to when my son's almost 10 months old. He's not doing math right now, but I'm not excited about whenever he does because the disconnect of – obviously I've forgotten all the math that I did in high school and college, but the disconnect between how I did math and how he's going to be taught how to do math is going to start a lot of fights in my house.
Yeah, what age do you think where you just tell your kid, like, hey, you're on your own for this one? Mm-hmm. I'd use the internet because Pop's not the best resource.
Yeah, I think I'd like, hey, if you want to know how to do the problem, look it up or ask the teacher. Also, the answer to all the odd ones are in the back of the book.
the old odd. They still do that?
I don't know. They did back when I was a kid.
Yeah,
man.
That was the best.
The odd answers were in we'd always look to see if they assigned us any odd questions.
Yeah.
So we can go and.
Oh, yeah. Then you see that one kid who's doing it by the books. He's waiting to answer the question, then checks it and goes, I almost had it. It's like, what are you doing, dude? Just write 8. It's in the back. We already know it. The dumb kid in the class has been done for 20 minutes.
No, yeah.
Cut it out. Yeah.
He's out. He's
Don't
back
waste
here.
your time, dude.
No. He's on MySpace right now on his phone.
You
kidding? I don't think they had that access on the phone.
Yeah, man, you really dated yourself with that one, pal. He's been on MySpace for 15 minutes.
Well, we didn't go to high school together, but we're the same age, so we were in high school at the same time.
I know,
MySpace
but
was a thing.
that was great. Anybody younger than us going, who? What?
MySpace?
What did he just say?
Okay, so
I didn't know he was born in the 70s.
For us, MySpace was an introduction into social media. For you guys now, MySpace is how you can go back and look up embarrassing pictures of everyone who started on MySpace. Like me, Ricky's done that quite a few times. Found my old MySpace pictures.
Pretend my hair swooped over at an angle over my forehead and eyes.
Yeah, I had the swoopy hair. Back then, before Bieber, they called it the Bama swoop.
You invented it. John Parker Wilson didn't come along for like another 2 years. You were already.
Yeah, I had the old Bama swoop and not a very happy face in any of those pictures.
You were so ready for the Vans Warped tour.
Oh, you know how bad I wish I could have gone to Warped
Oh,
tour?
man. My wife went, dude. She still talks about it.
Watch a little My Chemical Romance.
Oh, man. She gets in the car sometimes just like, and she like sings and screams like that. It's nuts, dude. Is that you?
No, that wasn't My Chemical Romance. That was Panic at the Disco, I think.
All right. Maybe she liked the little poppier version of that crowd.
What were you into?
Pull out my heart and break my eye. That kind of stuff. Like
That's pretty close to actual song lyrics, actually. That's really
they all sound the same.
That is really close to a very popular emo song, to be honest.
Take off my hair and rip out my tongue.
Now you're just doing a mashup.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's good. It actually sounds.
It's not bad. I'm telling you, I could write a song.
What were you listening to back
I
then?
could write a country song in 10 minutes.
Especially country these days.
A pop country song these days? I like to drink and beer in trucks. Girls in shorts. Beep-a-dee-ba-doo. Catchy beat. That's a country song.
There's a really popular Morgan Wallen song where he literally says the words, we didn't say anything, but we said it all. That doesn't mean anything.
No, it means everything.
We were on the phone and we said nothing, but we said everything.
It means everything. That's poetic. I actually can get behind that.
I can't. No,
but every
not
Luke
coming
Bryan
from, not
song,
coming from him.
Is like, I like beer and girls are cool. Football's fun and going to the pool. Like, you're just thinking about things that we already know that we like. Everyone likes that stuff, right?
Girls are cool.
Girls are cool and beer is cold. I like to sing songs about things I like. You know who else does that? Toddlers. I like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's pop country nowadays. Mud on my truck's real big. I like beer. Girls are cool. That's the song of the summer.
You make a catchy song about peanut butter and jelly, you're gonna blow up. You'll have the biggest hit in the world.
I don't know why we're wasting time with this stuff. You know, we're over here waiting for baseball. Meanwhile, there's an opportunity sitting here right in front of us.
We need to write a song about peanut butter and jelly. Can we do that, please?
See, you're pumped about this as a dad, aren't you?
Yeah, dude, because I
You're
can
going
sing
like,
this to
dude,
my kid.
this is money. This is dollar signs, right? You can see all his little kid buddies being into the PB&J song. You know, we'd have to do something else. PB&J's been worn out.
It's
Maybe
funny,
a song about sippy cups or something.
Yeah, well, we're trying to teach him how to use a sippy cup right now, so that would be great timing.
Following the curriculum.
Yeah. I make up random. It's funny because you're right. Country songs are like toddler songs, but country songs these days are like the songs you just randomly make up for your toddlers. Like while I'm holding Oliver or doing something at the house or he's doing something, I'll just make up words to a rhythm that we're doing all the time just to get him, because it gets him pumped up. Like, he gets so excited about it. That's what country music is to country dudes that like drinking beer.
Do yourself a favor. Grow a mullet. Get a bad mustache. Start wearing boots. And crank these things out, man, because that's how you get it done. I've already got a crummy mustache. I've got bad hair going. I can turn this into a mullet in seconds.
So what?
Let's do this thing.
I know back in the day you had way shorter hair.
We can be a Brooks and Dunn cover band. I want to be Kix Brooks. Which, by the way, I saw
Kix Brooks is the only guy. No, I don't know the Brooks' name or Dunn's name. But
Dunn. I don't know Dunn's name either.
It's not.
I was a big Kix Brooks guy. I saw an ad in the Nashville airport for his vineyard. You know he sells wine?
I did not.
I like drinking wine made by former country music stars. That's my favorite. What year is that? I don't care what year it is. It's made by Kix Brooks. You want some or not?
Yeah, now listen to our band, Brooks and Dunn, starring Kix Brooks and Warwick Dunn.
That's who the other Dunn is? 1,000-yard running back Warwick Dunn?
I'm going to go with it. That's the only Warwick.
Oh,
that's the only
my
Dunn I
God.
know. So. Or Harry Dunn from Dumb and Dumber.
Two great ones. Two of the all-time greats.
Those are two great Dunns.
Maybe my two favorite Dunns of all time, Warwick and Harry. And then third, that guy that was in the band with Kix Brooks.
Brooks and Dunn.
Dude, I looked at that ad in the Nashville airport for I was waiting for a cup of coffee, and the whole time I was waiting, I was just looking up at Kix Brooks going, see? He knew. He knew there were opportunities out there. He was like us one day. He said, you know what? People want to drink wine made by country music stars. And he went, screw it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And now sucker's got a banner in an international airport. What are we doing? We were looking for cables for 10 minutes before we started the show.
I was looking up for the name of Ronnie Dunn.
Oh. How cool is the name Kix?
K-I-X.
K-I-X. I'm surprised kids don't have that name. I'm surprised that's not a thing going on. We called the high school games between two teams. I'm not kidding you. There were 5 Jacksons, all spelt differently. A lot of them had X's in there.
But
Bring back Kix.
Isn't that a cereal?
Kix? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was healthy.
Was it?
I got a box of Kix as a kid because I saw the commercial and because I loved half of Brooks and Dunn.
It's not.
I told my mom, I said, I want some of that Kix cereal. And then we got some. I'm like, sure this ain't Brooks cereal? Because this tastes like
It tastes like Ronnie Dunn.
No, my bad.
Tastes like Ronnie Dunn.
I screwed it up. You sure this ain't Dunn cereal? Yeah,
Kix was gross.
Kix
man.
was great. Kix was packing peanuts. I don't even think it had sugar or I don't think it had anything. I think it was just dust compressed.
I want to go back to what we were talking about. Like
What were we talking
We
about?
got on the subject of music based on my hairstyle in high school, and I know your hairstyle now is nothing like when you were in high school. You've gone through several different hairstyles. What music were you listening to in high school? If you're making fun of me and my emo music, which I still listen
Dude,
to.
I was super into hip hop when at that age. Like, I had all the DMX CDs. I had all the ludicrous.
R.I.P. Right? DMX died.
DMX died,
R.I.P.
I can't sing any more of the lyrics or we'll get thrown out.
You used to, when we played that on the radio show, you used to bark coming in when we were doing it on Saturdays.
If I'm in a car and it plays on the radio from the back, I'll be like, and I'll bark along to the song. Why? Because I got that dog in me. And I've had it since a young age, man. I had all the DMX CDs. Ludacris, big on Luda.
I was a big Ludacris fan. Get this, so the idea of me at a Ludacris concert was very funny to the front office staff down there the other day. But we were talking about, so I was trying to get certain colleges to come out here for sports career night, and I reached out to UNA, and UNA was interested in my alma mater. They were interested in having some people come out for that, but it turns out that just happens to be on the day of their spring concert, and they're having Young Gravy come out for their spring concert, which is a great get for a college campus.
Young Gravy.
It's a great get for a college campus. But when I was in college, my first spring concert they did was Ludacris. They got Ludacris to come down there.
Sick.
I was the first one in line, front row.
Wow.
Me.
Number one in line for Ludacris
Number
was
one
you?
in line, front row. I waited in line so long, my phone died before I got into the show.
How long were you in line?
A long time, like 3 hours.
Wow.
And
I thought
then,
you were going to be like 17
oh,
hours.
no, it was after I got in line. And then, this face, front row for Ludacris.
I love you, Luda. I love you. And he's like, where are the girls? Why are they not girls? I should have got into country music.
It was awesome. And then the second year we had T.I., who was like an hour and a half late.
It's nice.
And then we had the one I didn't go to was Panic at the Disco. Had no real interest in Panic at the Disco. Well,
Oh,
yeah,
that's-
they get
that's
good.
good, though.
But yeah, imagine me, front row of a Ludacris
Dude,
concert.
good for you, man. I'd have been there
Nine-
too if I went to that same school.
24
I'd have signed my word of mouth CD.
2019, or 2014, excuse me, it was 9 years ago.
Good times.
A heck of a show. I have no pictures from it because, of course, my phone died before I got in.
An Outcast CD was my first ever. And I had a picture of a lady with boobies hanging out, so I had to throw it away. I was scared my mom was going to see it.
Just get someone to burn you a
I
copy?
burned a copy
Yeah.
myself, and I kept that one, and I threw away the other one. I was like Henry Hill in Goodfellas ditching the coke. He's flushing all the. What are we doing, Karen? We got to.
Karen!
That was 60 grams. Meanwhile, I'm Karening the Outcast CD. I'm
What'd you do, Karen?
I'm looking out the window for helicopters, wondering if my mom's over there. She hired someone from the Arsenal to do a sweep to see if I had any explicit CDs.
Same thing happened with me and my stepdad. He found my Puddle of Mud CD.
Dude.
I got in a lot of trouble.
But my mom was actually super into like that like alternative rock scene. So like she had all the Puddle of Mud, all that stuff. So I was really into that. And then hip hop.
Speaking of Puddle of Mud, so I was into hip hop and Puddle of Mud, or in like the alternative rock. They call it divorced dad rock now. I was into all that. And
Is
then,
that right?
Yeah, and I'm into all kinds of
My
rock
mom
music.
loved it. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
But my brother and I, back in 2018, there was this big bar up in Nashville. He lives up towards Nashville. It's out in between Nashville and where he lives. We went up there to see Puddle of Mud for $20.
Sweet.
And the lead singer got out of jail that afternoon.
He had a sketchy streak there.
We were the tickets were so cheap because we weren't sure if they were going to perform. We didn't know. They were like, I don't know.
That's a fun concert.
It depends if the bail comes in or not. The check clears.
That's nice. I think I went to a Bonnaroo or some kind of concert where Kanye was on, and like you were like, dude, there's no way he shows up. Right? There's no he was slated to play at 2 a.m. You're like, he's gonna be late. Like, no, I don't think he went on to like 4:30 or something.
Oh my gosh, I can't do concerts like that.
And but yeah, Bama game last night was pretty good.
Yeah, Austin got in over here and he said we had a great night at the Alabama baseball game last night at Toyota Field. How about that W last night? Roll Tide. Did not think Alabama was going to win that game based off how it started. First of all, even though the eighth inning took like 30 minutes, that was still a game that was like under 2.5 hours. Awesome. It went by so fast. It was a pretty good baseball game. MTSU scored 4 runs in like the third or the fourth inning. I think it was the fourth inning. And then Alabama follows that up with 4 runs of their own, ties it back up. Alabama takes the lead in like the sixth inning, goes up 5-4, and then they just poured it on them in the eighth inning. Ended up winning that thing 10-4. 10 unanswered runs for the Crimson Tide. They got the dub right here at Toyota Field in front of a crowd that was 6,479 strong.
Woo! that's a pretty good number right there.
I believe
man.
that the seating bowl, which sits like 5,000-6,000, the actual
yeah.
seating bowl sold out well before the game.
Yeah, I
started.
was going to say it looked like 64,000 on the field
Yeah.
looking up at the seating bowl. There wasn't an empty seat anywhere, and if there was, the person was probably at the concession stand.
They were waiting. They were waiting for a play or something to happen to blow the lid off, and we got a couple of them.
Dude, the fourth inning, like that was you're right, because like the first 3 innings, no runs for anybody, just kind of playing ball. Then the fourth inning comes, and Middle Tennessee opens it up, and then dude hits a 3-run bomb to really open it up, and the place got silent. And then the only thing you could hear is the Middle Tennessee dugout. They were loud. At one point, dude came in, they did like a group jump, whatever thing. It went, ooh, they did that number. And it was like, it sounded like something like when they do a test on the Arsenal. Like, it was loud. Everyone was up, ooh. And I was looking around, I was looking at the crowd. I'm like, ooh, okay, Middle Tennessee trying to make a point here. Then they added one more that inning. And it didn't last very long. Alabama gets 4. And it kind of shut down that energy that Middle Tennessee State had. I mean, they were looking like, hey, we're about to upset this team in Alabama. Let's go get it. And they gave up those runs immediately, and the rest was history. Alabama wins by 6.
The first time through the lineup, MTSU, both pitching staffs were looking great. After that, MTSU used 6 or 7 pitchers last night after the fourth inning. McNary, I believe, is the pitcher for Alabama. He looked great through the first 3 innings, the first time through the lineup for MTSU, and then he got hammered in the fourth inning, made it out, and then ended up, I believe, getting a no decision because they tied it up in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah.
So, and then, of course, they pulled him. So Alabama did win that one 10-4. If you were just score watching that one last night and weren't able to make it to Toyota Field, it looked like a decisive victory. That was up in the air for the first half of the game, but then Alabama turned it on. It was a very good baseball game until about the 8th inning. But a couple of things, like you mentioned, the energy and everything else. How about the national anthem standoff we had out here, first and third base?
Did that happen? I didn't know.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about this.
So Alabama.
Oh my God! I can't believe I missed that.
Alabama had a guy over here on the first base side, and MTSU had a guy over here on the third base side. Alabama's players came out and were supporting him and surrounding him. MTSU players didn't do anything for their guy. But after the national anthem was over, they stood there until it prevented the Alabama running on the field. It delayed that. The Alabama team was supposed to run on the field, but there were 2 guys standing there on the third, one on the third, one on the first base side, still doing this, looking at the American flag, kind of peeking over at each other. Having a national anthem standoff.
I love that.
It was awesome.
I love when that happens. I would love to be on a baseball team just to be that guy. Because I would straight up, you'd have to pick my body up and throw me out of the ballpark to get me to move. And I would not break for anything, dude. If there's a baseball team out there that wants to be undefeated in the stare-off, I'm in. You're not cracking this.
The Alabama guy won. So
that's right.
The MTSU guy, I don't know how, but he ended up falling backwards.
Umpire is going to have to call security, and you're going to have to rope me like they do when they rope cattle at them rodeo and they ring yow. Do that number? You have to hog tie me.
I'd pay good money to see you get hog tied.
I dare someone to challenge me to an anthem stare down during the '69 home games of the Panders. I'll take a fine for this, pal.
But that was a good warm-up crowd. 6,400, almost 6,500 people.
Yeah,
here.
it was awesome. It was awesome. I'm so ready for baseball to be here, getting to talk to so many of the fans that you see weekly out here. It's awesome. I said it last year when we had our season ticket holder event a week before the season, which is coming up this weekend for us this year. It's like a family reunion every year. You get to see all the faces that you see so often, and the season ends, and it's like, oh. Unless you run into them in the wild, it's you just don't see them, and it's really cool. I'm looking forward to that. Got to talk to a lot of people. Thank you to everybody who congratulated me on my wedding. That was really nice.
It's not even real.
It will be real. It's real in ring form. You're helping me out with the paperwork part tomorrow. I appreciate that.
My wife is going to legitimize his marriage.
Okay, it's going to count, dude. Chill out. Remember in school when I was always the kid that wanted to turn his test in first, and the teacher was like, Ricky, you really shouldn't be the first one. You should probably take your time on this one, really think about it. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with applying that same method to a wedding license or certificate or whatever it's called?
There is so much pressure on the guy that turns his test in first.
Yeah. I didn't care, though. I hated being I would just get done and then turn it in, and the teacher would shame me for it. I'm like, I feel like if I go back and look at it, I'm going to second guess. I'm going to get worse.
I can't focus after, like, once I finish the whole test, I can't go back and be like, all right, did I do this one right? I can't refocus and do it again. I'm not going to do the test again. Take it.
Yeah, take
We're
it.
good.
I got to get on MySpace.
Yeah, I've got to update my picture. My hair's not swoopy enough.
I got to add more swoop.
I'm not sad enough in this picture. I got to be more sad.
I don't have filters yet. I've got to improve my swoop
It's
naturally.
true. We did not have filters. The MySpace pictures were no filters unless you had Photoshop.
You realize the lighting I got to get going in this school to appropriately photograph my swoop? It takes a
It's funny
funny
you said
miracle. There's one time at 1:13 in the afternoon, the sun creaks through the geometry room, and if I'm in the corner, and it looks great. That's all I got. It's my golden minute. It's all we had back in the MySpace days.
It's a tight window, man. You've got to do what you got to do. I
You
mean,
had to ask
look
the
at
teacher to go to the bathroom so you could sneak into the geometry room and take a picture for your social media. That's what you had to do. And you had to wait till you got home to upload it. That's right.
I mean, hey,
Yeah, back in my day.
look where we are now. You know? I mean,
Yeah, you kids with your filters and your artificial intelligences and stuff, I swear. Back in my day, you'd put a little Papa Roach in the background of your MySpace page, put a photo of your stupid-looking hair, and you just see how the day went.
that is one thing I wish they would bring back on Facebook and other social media, Twitter or something like. Profile songs were awesome.
Nah, I don't need that.
Profile songs were great. Ranking your friends in retrospect and hindsight, awful.
I can't believe I ever did that.
Everybody got caught up in ranking their
I
friends.
got the BCS rankings. I got the college football playoff committee selecting my top 10 friends every
And
week.
dude,
We had fun at the pool, man. Oh no, but we went to that movie. Didn't really talk to them that much. I think we're gonna move you to 7. Going down to 7 this week in the polls.
on paper, you're a top 5 friend. On paper, you're top 5. But on the field, performance matters. And out there in the field, you're playing like a top 15.
Look,
Right.
you're a good dude, but Bethany's a chick. She's going to 2. All right, I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, that's true too. Like you could have someone completely unranked, but if you start talking to a chick, she goes from unranked to like top 3, and then you start dating, boom, number 1,
All the way up.
all the way to number 1.
It's like a Cinderella. You know, that's like rushing the court. know?
Storm of the court. You go from
Yeah.
unranked to number 1.
Chaminade just beat Georgetown. They went from nothing to 1. It's a Cinderella story.
Those were great, man. That was a terrible idea.
Terrible.
In retrospect,
Terrible.
awful that you could rank your friends.
Nothing but pressure.
No, I would love to go back and see what my friends list would be right now. Like 2010, what my 2010 friends list was. Would love to see that. It'd be awesome. That was the last time I was on MySpace, probably like 2010.
I remember mine.
I have
Kinda.
no clue who mine would be. None. No.
I don't remember really looking at those numbers and being like, I don't know.
Oh, you stressed over it for a while, for sure.
And then you're looking at how they ranked you. You're like, oh, they only got me at a 3. That guy's got me at an 8.
Yeah.
Stupid. Just stupid.
Meanwhile, your third time through rollout on your profile picture. Roll out.
Good times. Good times.
Speaking of, one thing before we get into, and we're going to talk the Angels and
Big
the Trash-
Angels news.
Oh, big Angels news going on. However,
Unofficially.
at the end,
More speculation.
yeah, more. At the end of last podcast, we brought up Cocaine Bear, and we were talking about movies that just like we need more movies that just describe what the movie is, right? More movie titles that just describe what the movie's about. And we dropped some good ones. Dude, Where's My Car? Finding Nemo was one of yours. We dropped some good ones, but you tasked me with coming up with some other ones that perfectly describe the movie. Like there are no surprises past the title of the movie. And I got some more for you. Some of them are iffy. I need to know if they count or not. So I'm going to ask you. Okay, but here are the ones that I had coming up. Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2.
I haven't seen it. Did they kill him?
In the second one, they get him.
So
gets
the
him.
first one doesn't apply then.
But she's still searching for him. The attempt is to kill Bill.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
Saving Private Ryan.
That's
It's what they do.
They did save him. They saved him.
Back to the Future.
They went back to the future.
Yeah, they were in the past, and they have to go from the past back to the future.
Interesting. Okay.
Let's see. Drumline, Nick Cannon.
Yeah, they play drums.
They do.
They play the drums.
Here's one from your childhood.
Uh-huh.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
What's that movie about? A
They Shrunk
man
the Kids.
who's married has kids. Shrunk them.
Almost eats them in a bowl of cereal.
Almost.
I've not seen this movie. This is a country movie, or a Western movie, excuse me. I need to know. This is a question. There will be blood. Is there blood?
I don't know, but I would assume. I haven't seen it either.
There better be. I hear it's really good.
I hear it's fantastic. I've been trying to watch it for about 10 years.
Same. I actually have a list of movies on my phone, and I've checked off all the ones I've seen. All the ones that are left are all like 2.5+ hours, so that's the reason I haven't watched them, because they're so long. But I've got like a list of 40 movies. It's like 2.5 to 3.5 hours. And that's one of them. Let's see. One I can't believe we forgot about.
What's up?
Home Alone. Literally Home Alone.
Not true, though.
Well, he is Home Alone.
Yeah, but those guys broke in. Even though he's home alone, he's truly never alone.
That was weirdly deep.
But,
Jacob
yeah.
Flippo gets in and says, Cars.
Dude, I
Yeah,
said it
said
last
that.
show. I was like, I don't know how you top Cars.
I've got one that'll top Cars.
Cars is pretty good.
I've got one that's going to top that, but we'll keep going here. I've got a few more. Matthew Damon was in this movie. We Bought a Zoo.
Did you just call him Matthew Damon?
I did. It felt
Was
wrong
that
when
on
I said
purpose?
it.
What was
No,
that?
it felt wrong when I said it, but I wanted to keep moving along.
Never heard a person called Matt Damon Matthew Damon. What are you, his mom?
Matt Damon was in a movie called We Bought a Zoo.
Yeah.
Did they buy a zoo?
Was Benjamin Affleck in that one with him, or was that a different movie?
It was every other movie he's made.
Okay.
Had Benjamin Affleck in it.
Matthew Damon.
Didn't see it, but I would imagine they bought a zoo in that movie.
Yeah, I
Pretty
think
sure they bought a. Twister is a good one. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
They do a lot of other things in between.
But
yeah,
the goal is to go to White Castle.
they do make it, right? I haven't seen
They
that
do.
movie in a while.
They do
Good
make
for
it to
them.
White Castle.
Good for them.
Sharknado. What else do you want? Like, do you watch Sharknado and go, wow, well, they really missed it with that title? It's exactly what it sounds like.
I can't argue with that.
And okay, so going back to the YouTube, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I thought about that one, but I thought about asking you about that one. I feel like that one's on the line.
You ever seen that Family Guy episode where the stupid lady that Drew Barrymore voices that's dating Brian and Peter go to I think they go to Disney on Ice, and they're like, yeah, maybe Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It really should have been called like Ferris Bueller's Day On, because he was like so on, you know. I kind of feel like that too.
So
He was so on.
was he off or on?
I feel like he was on.
So that doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Homeward Bound.
I mean, the man properly stole the identity of Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago,
He did.
and got a table at Chez Louis or whatever the place is called. That's not easy. That's his day on.
Jacob Flippo says, Homeward Bound. Remember that one? About the dogs and the cat?
Dude, yeah.
Sad one. Looks like little Greg McElroy in that movie, the kid who owns Shadow, the older brother.
Oh, don't bring it up.
It looks like he looks like. Go watch that
Please.
movie. Anybody that's familiar with Greg McElroy, and tell me he doesn't look like a young Greg McElroy.
I'm a mess. I'll be a mess.
All right, last one here. The one that's going to beat Cars. The movie title that perfectly describes the movie with its title. Snakes on a Plane.
That's the GOAT.
That's it right
That's
there.
the best one. You're right.
Snakes on a Plane.
That was a movie about a plane with way too many snakes on it.
Now, regardless of how you feel about why there were snakes on the plane and if they got them off in an adequate amount of time,
Yeah.
you cannot dispute that the movie title is named Snakes on a Plane, and you get Snakes on a Plane. So it's hard to beat that one. I didn't think it'd be. I thought it was going to be too hard to beat Dude, Where's My Car? But Snakes on a Plane,
That's it.
easily the
Can't
movie.
beat it.
Can't beat that one.
I'm tired of these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. According to the TV edit of Snakes on a Plane that is shown regularly on TBS and FX.
I've never seen that movie, but if I'm going to watch a Samuel L. Jackson movie, I'm not watching the edited version.
You should.
There's-
It's way better.
there's
It's
no
way better.
There's no way the famous line, I'm tired of these blank names on this blank plane. There's no way that's the edit for that.
There's only two movies that are good with the TV edit. Snakes on a Plane and Showgirls. Showgirls has no business being on television, but somehow they figure out a way to do it. They literally draw clothing on these people in some scenes. Looks like Microsoft Paint went in there and
Oh
edited
my
it.
God.
And then Snakes on a Plane.
I need proof of this. Not the Showgirls thing, but The Snakes on a Plane one.
Let me see if I can download this real quick.
There's no way he actually says.
I'm
Would you say
tired
Monday
of
to
these
Friday?
monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
It's Monday to
This
Friday.
plane doesn't fly on weekends because there's too many monkey fighting snakes on here.
No. Monday to Friday. What does that mean?
It's a plane that doesn't fly on the weekends, pal. What do you mean?
What does he
does
got?
it
Like
mean?
visitation or something? Why doesn't it fly on the weekend? The plane have kids?
Because the airline's cutting down on hours, man. Because these snakes have affected the economy of our American airlines.
Why were the snakes on the plane? But I've never seen that movie.
I don't know who put the dang snakes on there. I guess some.
What did that movie do in the box office? My brother went and saw that movie in theaters.
I don't know, man. But I know there were too many snakes on that thing, no doubt.
What did it make? It made $62 million in the U.S.
Yeah.
62 million. What was the budget? It has a
$100.
it is a 69% on Rotten Tomatoes. I would have guessed it would have had a 9%.
Ooh, I found the video. I need to get this downloaded.
Snakes on a Plane budget. Let's see what that was. 33. It doubled its budget. It was a $33 million budget.
Yeah. I bet that thing's made a ton since then, like.
It's a cult classic.
Yeah, it won't let me download it 'cause it's like a movie or whatever. They're still trying to make some money back on that budget. Look it up, though. I found it. Snakes on a Plane TV edit, and then you'll see the first result. It says the famous line, and it's that one I just said. There's too many monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
Oh, my God.
And then when you watch it, too, you're going, wait a minute. Not only is this plane extremely hampered by the presence of these snakes, but now they're fighting monkeys. Where are the monkeys at?
Where did the monkeys
Why is
come
no one talking about the monkeys on a plane? Was there ever a sequel, Monkeys on a Plane?
There was not a sequel.
Because these snakes, you know why we can't get rid of these snakes? It's because these dang monkeys got them held captive on here. And we can't attack the monkeys because I'm pretty sure this is a prequel to the Planet of the Apes.
It's a PETA violation.
Oh, my God. Someone brought one emotional support monkey on here, and next thing you know, we got a monkey snake epidemic on this Monday to Friday plane.
Oh, my
And
God.
I'm just trying to get to my connecting flight out of Charlotte.
Oh, man. I don't know how to transition from the end of Snakes on a Plane
I don't even know what we're talking about.
to baseball that I'm trying to transition into. But we still don't know.
Speaking of planes, we got some guys that are going to be flying into the area real soon for Trash Pandas baseball due to some of this news out of Angels camp.
There you go. Good heads up.
Yeah,
So,
pretty
according
good.
to MajorLeagueBaseball.com, they put a top 100 prospects where they will begin the season. The Angels have
Keep going.
2 top 100 prospects. One of them, obviously, would be. Let me go ahead and pull them all up for you real quick. The first one, Logan O'Hoppe, is the number 53 overall prospect in Major League Baseball this season. He is going to be the youngest catcher in Angels history to start opening weekend.
Yo, I got a story out of that. Angels manager Phil Nevin wanted the moment to be special for him when he told him he was gonna be on the roster and starting. So Nevin grabbed O'Hoppe. He said, "Come with me and bring your phone." And then he asked me, "Hey, how's your dad doing?" And he said, "He's good." And then he had me call him, and that's when Logan said, "I knew this was probably going to be pretty good."
Dude, how cutthroat would that have been?
Dude, so he gets to call his mom and dad and announce that he's starting for the Angels. And he said, quote, "Us O'Hoppes are criers." There were definitely some tears. And I believe it because that man is incredibly vascular, all right? His body is working at peak performance. If it feels emotions, it will produce tears. There will be nothing clogging up those tear ducts. These people are, they're genetic, what's a good term? I almost said freaks, but that feels wrong.
I don't.
They have a nice family.
Specimens. They're specimens.
The O'Hoppes were built to play sports.
Oh, yeah. And cry.
And cry. I don't know where the hell I'm going with this one. But you get what I'm saying. So we got to cry there. Got to tell his parents. Got to break the news. An awesome moment right there. And as you said, youngest Angels catcher by 188 days to ever be on the field opening day. The previous youngest catcher was Buck Rogers.
I was going to ask you who that was. I wanted you to guess who it was.
Oh, Buck Rogers. 23 years old and 237 days. He did it back in 1962. O'Hoppe is only 49 days into being 23. What a rise for that guy. He gets traded here after the midway point of the season, tears it up in Rocket City, and here he is, man, the start of his professional career, or his big league career, I mean.
So Logan's going to be the youngest starting catcher in Angels history, but imagine if they were cutthroat and just went about it that very same way, but just a different result. Like, hey, Logan, can you come in here, bring your phone?
Oh, my
Why don't you
God.
go and call your dad up real quick? And Logan's sitting there thinking, like, I'm about to be an Angel. And they're like, hey, Mr. O'Hoppy, glad we have you on here. We just wanted to bring everybody in, be in the same room, be on the same page. We just want to let you guys know that we're actually releasing him. We're cutting him.
Golly,
We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut him.
That is the coldest thing ever.
Right, like that's what I'm saying. Like, that Logan knew that he was gonna make the squad when he told him to call his dad. Because there's nobody would ever do something like that. No one's that cold-blooded.
That hurt just hearing you lay out that scenario. Hey, how's your dad doing? He pretty good? Yeah. Let's see how he's doing in a little bit. Why don't you give him a call? Brrrring. Brrrring. The O'Hoppies use a very old-style phone at their house, as you can tell by the ring. Brrrring. Hello? Hey, Pa. Phil Nevin here, manager of the Angels. He just wants to talk to you real quick. Hey, what's up, Pop? How you doing? Oh, doing great, Skip. How you doing? How's my boy doing out there? Oh, well, that's actually why I'm calling. Your boy, he's here all right. But it won't be for long. He's packing his crap up. We cut him. All right? Now, if you ever want to see this kid play again, I suggest you get you a timeshare in Tijuana because he'll be in the Mexican League in 2 weeks. Get on it! That would be cold-blooded. Dude.
But the rest of the scenario would play out the same way. Us O'Hoppies are criers.
We're criers, man. For good or for bad.
I feel like I can bring up that scenario because it was good news. He made the squad. Yeah. And we've had O'Hoppy on the show before, and O'Hoppy is awesome.
Class act, man.
Very
and I
friendly
met
guy.
his dad, too. Class act. I met O'Poppy. I met O'Mommy. I met the future 10-year catcher for the Angels. I mean, was he like 20? Oh, we just said it.
23 and some change.
I mean, and the guy's he's far more of a man than I am at almost 10 years older. So, touche. Well done.
And according to this list, written by several guys on MajorLeagueBaseball.com, the other top 100 prospect for the Angels and where he might end up is Zach Neto. He is the number 89 overall prospect, shortstop. And
I love that guy.
The Angels have quite a few dudes that work the infield and will be working the infield this year. Zach Neto, according to this, is coming back to Double-A. We're gonna get Neto back.
I saw that on Twitter too. Now I legitimately do not know the roster.
We have no.
This
we
is
have
not us
no
like
rosters.
doing a little gag here or trying to maintain some kind of, I don't know, some secrecy that doesn't exist. I legitimately have not seen the roster. I don't know what it is, but I did see on Twitter the other day where it said Neto was going to Rocket City. I was like, no way. Is that for real? Which I hope it is. I can't wait. We're giving away his bobblehead this year around the midpoint. He's such a good player. He was here for about 2 months. Came in like Sonny D and Ben Joyce and all those guys after the draft. I mean, super bright future. So awesome we get to see him again. And shout out to his mom, Maggie. She retweets this show like every day.
Maggie Neto.
Such a nice lady.
Anytime I tweet anything about the Trash Pandas or anything we're doing in here, I always get retweeted by a couple of parents. And
Yeah.
Maggie Neto is one of them. She is definitely someone who's always putting our word out there. And then the other one is Teodosio's family.
Yeah.
They retweet me too a lot. So
it's awesome. I wouldn't be surprised if I bet we have Teodosio back
I hope
too.
we have Teo back, man.
Younger
He is such a
guy,
great
for sure.
playmaker out there in center field. And he's not going to play center field for the Angels anytime soon. You've got Mike Trout out in center field. So
Yeah, it's a tough guy to get past. Yeah, man. With the news that I'm starting to see, I kind of feel like we're going to be loaded.
it's starting to feel that way. I mean, with just those two dudes, or with just O'Hoppy being there, a couple of guys are probably, if I had to guess, end up in AAA. Again, I don't know this to be 100% certain, but Silseth's probably going to be down there. Ben Joyce will probably be down in AAA. If I had to guess, that's a guess. Maybe we get him back for a little bit.
The tweet I saw that had Neto going to AA also had Joyce going AA. It had Silseth AAA.
We're
I can't remember who sent that or whatever. It's just I
stacked.
saw a graphic. It had their names. This is by no means official, but I saw it and I was like, well, if that guy made a graphic, maybe there's something there.
He knows something.
And I mean, he did get the Angels just, what was it, 2 days ago announced a slew of roster moves. They optioned Mickey Moniak and Joe Adell, so they'll probably be AAA for sure. They're going to go back and forth. And Ben Joyce, Austin Warren, and Jacob Webb. So if Ben Joyce is getting sent to the minors, we were thinking he might start on the major league roster. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he starts off down here because he's only played in the AA level for
Handful of
a
games.
month, 2 months.
And he only, for the most part, only pitched like one inning at a time. We rarely saw him come out for multiple innings, so wouldn't surprise me. A couple other guys who showed out in spring training that I would be excited to get back if we were going to get them back, Jordan Adams and Jeremiah Jackson.
I feel like those guys are going to be back too.
And good moments in spring ball, too. They had some good moments.
Absolutely.
So would love to see would love to have them back.
That could be our outfield right there. Jordan Adams, Bryce Teodosio, and Jeremiah Jackson, even though Jackson played pretty much everywhere last year. I think mostly infield. But, man.
Guys like Soto, I mean, is he going to start in AAA this year? Because he's had a pretty good time up there.
Well, it feels like if Neto's going to be AA, Soto'll probably be AAA. You know, no point in having both of them here sharing time. And then with Ohapi at catcher for the Angels, I'm wondering who we're going to have at catcher because, I mean, Zach Humphreys was having a really good year last year before the Ohapi trade, and then once Ohapi got here, that made Humphreys more of a DH than a catcher. He didn't get the same amount of playing time behind the plate. Will we have him back? And then we also, what's his name, Edgar Cuero, who played in the single-A level for the Angels, big-time catcher prospect.
For the Angels, yeah. Top 30.
You got to think we're probably going to have him too. If this roster looks the way I think it will in my head, I think it's going to be like the cream of the crop that we had last year, and then the cream of the crop from single-A that's moving up.
I like the way you're thinking about our roster that way because the same way you're thinking about the Trash Pandas roster that way, I'm starting to think the same way about the Angels roster. Like looking at their big league roster, thinking about some of the big shots we might get back, looking at how their team could look if they stayed healthy. The Angels should be a playoff team this year. They should be.
They looked like it for the first third of the year last year.
Look at your pitching rotation. You're going to have a six-man rotation, and two of those dudes are Shohei Ohtani and Reed Detmers, who had a really good year last year, the only pitcher in all of Major League Baseball last year to throw a solo no-hitter. And that was his first full year up there in the majors. And so he's going into his second full year up there. That's a really good lineup. You got Mike Trout in the outfield. You had a bunch of other additions as well. You've got of course Jared Walsh, but I think he's been injured. Gio Urshela, Brandon Drury's there. You have what's the other one? The other addition that I'm looking for. Anthony Rendon, who's been hurt. He'd been banged up, and he's supposed to be fully healthy. I say an addition, but if he's fully healthy, it's basically an addition because he's only played like 100 games combined these last couple of years for the Angels. So if he's been raking in spring. So if he's back, then they're in good shape. You got Mike Trout, Taylor Ward, Hunter Renfroe, and Brett Phillips in the outfield. I mean, this is a play. It looks like a playoff roster in the preseason.
What you're talking about is what I was talking to one of our season ticket holders yesterday, Carl. He was here before the Alabama game. We were kind of talking about the Trash Panda season, and we were talking about, who we might have at this level, and then also the Angels. And he brought up a great point to me. He said, the Angels are set up to be like what a championship team is now in the pros, which is you have some big-name guys, but then you bring up some young guys and you get some team-friendly deals and you get production from those younger players. Look at the Braves.
The Braves, great example.
They've got great contracts. They've got some good pillars, but then you can get a guy like Vaughn Grissom, a Michael Harris that can step in from the minor leagues and add an immediate punch and keep you at a playoff level. That's what the Angels have. You got the two best players in the world with Trout and Ohtani. You've got guys like Rendon. You've got other role players. And then the minor leagues, I mean, we've watched it. I'm so excited for the guys we might be getting. And then the ones that have surpassed AA and moved up to AAA in the pros, those are going to be the guys that fill in those gaps. Will Hoppy be like a Vaughn Grissom was for the Braves or a Michael Harris? Will a Zach Neto get called up at midseason to find some time in there as well? They're building themselves up, I think, to be a title contender here. If not this year, maybe 2-3 years.
This should at least, you're exactly right. And at the very least, it should be a playoff team. This is a team that, in order to make the playoffs and make that run that they want to make, they have to get better offensively. Pitching-wise, I brought up how good of a lineup that should be. This was a pitching staff last year in terms of batting average was in the top 5, top 6 in all of Major League Baseball, and then or top 10 at least. And then in runs scored, they were in the bottom 6 of Major League Baseball. So when you have Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, that can't happen. You had Anthony Rendon, who's fully healthy. The guys that we talked about out there in the outfield, Hunter Renfroe and guys like that. You've got to start scoring runs. So and the way baseball's going, it's looking like they're trying to add more action. Speaking of the pitch clock, they finished their study about the pitch clock in the spring season.
Mm-hmm.
Spring ball was 30 minutes shorter than it was last year.
There you go.
Getting a ton of action. It hasn't really affected any other stuff like that either, like about the same amount of runs scored in a game. So there you go. Again, some people look at that and they go, well, it didn't add any action. It did. It just shortened the time between action. You're talking about a 3.5 hour game where your average a game per season where the runs average were like 10 runs total. And then you're talking about doing that, but for 2.5 hours? You're talking a way shorter time between runs, between base runners, between stolen bases. The bases are now bigger. There's no shift and all this. It's just...
They got Bryan Cranston doing commercials about how fun the game's going to be.
They do?
Have you seen those?
No.
MLB's got commercials with Bryan Cranston where he's just highlighting. He's like, there's going to be runs and players are going to be moving. And he's just talking about how exciting the game's going to be and kind of like giving you like that bedside manner to like all the old school fans that hate all these rules, just kind of being like, don't worry about it, buddy. Your old pal Brian's here. We're going to have a good time. You don't worry about it. You don't worry about all them crazy rules.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Remember me? Remember when I used to sell meth on TV? I'm your buddy. Let's go watch a ball game.
Remember my son Malcolm? Remember him?
Remember me?
My middle
Remember
child?
him? He was in the middle. We made a whole show about it. Let's go watch a ball game. What do you say?
Going over here, Tyler Berry, to your point about how loaded we could be. He says Neto, Adams, Jackson, Cabbage, Whitefield, Palmeiro, Aguilar, Sonny D, Paris, Teodosio. Our lineup could have a lot of options.
Dude.
Sign me up.
I think there's a serious possibility we end up with like all but maybe one or two. I wouldn't be surprised if Palmeiro and Aguilar start off AAA.
Mm-hmm.
But Neto, Adams, Jackson, Trey Cabbage could be back.
We getting
How
Maitan
much
back?
friggin' fun was that for the 6 weeks he was here? Aaron Whitefield, fresh off playing for Australia in the World Baseball Classic. Sonny D out here getting a full season, maybe. Kyron Paris, Teodosio, a lot of returning guys from a team that won the regular season. Got a little chip on that shoulder. I don't know if they'll be there at the end of the season, as you know how minor league rosters work, but, man, this could be a fun start, dude.
What about Kevin Maitan? Where's he?
I don't know.
We'd love to see Maitan back.
I don't know.
Announcing his name was fun. I like doing his name.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just from a solely like my job perspective, that was fun.
I always liked when you announced Jeremiah Jackson because you did it like Oprah. Jeremiah Jackson!
Yeah, the first time was really Oprah. We were talking about that yesterday. The opening day, I didn't have Teodosio's name down. Like usually, I like to draw out some syllables. I drew out every one of Bryce Teodosio's. So I was like, Bryce Teodosio.
Yeah.
I shortened it during the season, but Rob still laughs at that one.
Jeremiah Jackson's the best.
Yeah,
I asked him once after an at-bat. I was like, how do you like that Oprah intro? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, listen to your name next time. Jeremiah Jackson.
Did you ever follow up with him on that?
I can't remember what he said.
We had him on the show once.
He was like really hitting the ball well, so he's probably like thinking about, his career
Yeah,
instead of how,
the little things.
a couple of goofs say his name.
So I was looking, Otani's in the last year of a deal, of a 1-year deal. He was on that. They gave him a 1-year extension. Last year he played for like $30 million. This year he's expected to play or the extension he's got this year is worth $30 million, I think. But he's expected to play for $65 million this season, which is an MLB single-season record based on, number one, his salary of $30 million from the 1-year deal, and he's making an extra, estimated, according to Forbes, $35 million in endorsements.
Was that according to Forbes?
Forbes.
I'll be.
So, Otani's making bank. But you know what he was making before that extension?
What?
Shohei Ohtani, I believe also the same year he won AL MVP. Shohei Ohtani's salary was $4 million a year.
Probably being underpaid.
The deal he's probably going to sign after the season should be north of $500 million.
Man, and the thing is, I was talking to Carl yesterday, same guy. We talked a lot of ball yesterday, and this came up as well. And we were talking about Ohtani and, like, the contract. Like, what kind of – is this guy going to make a $500 million on this contract? And I was like, not only do I think he could make that, but it might not even be like those deals you see Bryce Harper or was it Juan Soto just got like 14-year deals worth 400 and whatever million. Like, with Ohtani being a top-notch pitcher and hitter, I mean, you kind of have to pay him like two players, but also how long is he going to be able to pitch like that? So you don't necessarily probably want a long-term contract. Like, could this guy get like a 6 or 7 year deal for $500 million and make like $80 million a year? I mean, you're saving a roster spot by having him. He's producing at MVP levels at both positions. You don't know how long he'll be able to do that, so maybe you lock him down for 6. You pay him a boatload of cash. Is that how you do it? I don't know what you do there.
At 6 years, $500 million.
Do you do a 6-year, $400 million deal and pay him 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, it's like $65 million a year?
Yeah, 85 or $500 million at 6 years was $83 million a year. Shohei's going to
6 years, $400 million, $65 million a year.
Jesus. You got to pay.
He's one of the best hitters and one of the best pitchers in the league.
Especially if he goes out there again, kind of like Aaron Judge did in a contract year, goes out and wins AL MVP again. It'd be a second AL MVP. He finished 4th in the Cy Young voting last year. I mean, and on top of that, you talk about how long he can pitch like that. He's only getting better as a pitcher. His velocity during the Baseball World Classic in the final was like 102 miles an hour.
Yeah.
He's getting even better and even faster as a pitcher. So imagine that, dude. Look at that. You've got Ohtani, the guy who could go 6 or 7 innings, throwing 102 miles an hour, and then eventually you got a guy like Ben Joyce coming in, gassing 105.
What are you supposed to do?
And then he's throwing like an 80-mile-an-hour off speed.
I think I'd retire.
I'd retire mid-inning.
I'd be like, dude, this isn't worth it. Mm-hmm. I would just be scared the entire time in the box. Like, I wish I could have played baseball in the era when like guys were throwing 87, and that was like, dude, hey, he's pretty good. He gets up to 87 with some movement.
I was listening. I had a big baseball itch last night. I was on my way home from the Alabama game, and I was listening to some radio show talking about baseball. It was on ESPN, and they were talking about Ohtani and Babe Ruth, and this guy was like, I've got a friend of mine who's a PA announcer in Major League Baseball, and we were having this conversation the other day, and I told him, I said, look, this is going to make a lot of modern day, or it's going to make a lot of old baseball heads mad, but I think Shohei Ohtani's better than Babe Ruth. Why is that a debate?
I don't know, because he's old. For some reason, you can't say an older player is.
Number one, also obviously Babe Ruth in the era he played in was playing against a bunch of fat, slow white guys. But on top of that, wasn't the mound 5 feet closer? It wasn't like 55 feet, and they ended up moving it back to 60?
They didn't even allow everybody to play back then, for Christ's sake. I mean, come on.
What?
For some reason, you're not allowed to say Babe Ruth is worse than someone who played in the 100 years since he retired. I don't know why. But my grandfather was one of the few people that would take a player from his era and then logically say, like, that guy would have no chance playing in today's game. He would always say, like, as a joke, like, because he was old, I'd be like, hey, what do you think about LeBron? LeBron's pretty good. You think Bob Cousy could hang with him? You think Bob Cousy could play ball with LeBron James? And he'd look at me and he'd go, Rick, you take that ball and shove it right up Bob Cousy's, And I was like, you know what? You're probably right. It probably would dribble all around that man.
Yeah.
Why can my grandfather say Bob Cousy would have that ball shoved around? But we can't say a fat guy who ate hot dogs and drank booze every day, who happened to hit for power and also pitch, might not be as talented as this 6'5", 235-pound physical specimen in Shohei Ohtani.
This childlike creature on the mound.
Yeah, who hits for power and pitches 102.
My apologies to Babe Ruth. Yes, you were playing before everyone was included, but the mound got moved to 60 feet in 1893, so it was a little. So he was pitching at 60 feet.
Yeah, he was also not allowed to play against everybody.
Yeah.
So.
And by everybody, we mean people that came in and ended up being really good at baseball.
I mean, like anyone from another country or, anyone who's African American. Pretty much like a majority of the people who are wanting to play baseball. So,
a lot of which were
Japanese players.
So,
I mean, good Lord. There's so much more talent out there now.
Yeah.
Is that crazy to say? Because I can see an old timer going like, you don't know what you're talking about.
I can't believe that.
I saw Jimmy Fox go 5 for 5 in a whatever.
I can't believe that's a controversial topic. But yeah, whoa, Tony's better than Babe Ruth. Whoa, pump the brake. I'll die on that hill. I'll argue with it. I'm not going to say I'll argue with anybody, but I will let you, roast me on an open flame and be that figure. Shohei Ohtani's better than Babe Ruth.
At their primes.
I'll die on that hill
for
sure.
I'll take it too. I will take that. Did you see that ground ball that Shohei ran out in the 7th inning of the World Baseball Classic?
Yes, I did.
Babe Ruth ain't running that out if he had a Harley Davidson over there on home plate. Give me a break.
Oh, man. A couple other things I wanted to bring up before we get out of here. I know we got a few minutes left, but I wanted to bring up the NBA Hall of Fame class, the new Hall of Fame class. The only reason I want to bring this up is being a fan of sports as we grew up on guys that guys we were watching, but then the guys getting inducted into the Hall of Fame were before our time, and our parents were. I remember watching him play. We lived basically off the highlights of those guys or at the tail end of their career when we were kids. And we're officially in that era now where the guys getting inducted into the Hall of Fame are people we grew up watching their entire careers. And just a couple of interesting things about the NBA Hall of Fame class. The guys that were being inducted, I'm trying to find it again and pull it up, but I just wanted to go off the top of my head. Here it is. It's Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, headline the class. Greg Popovich is going to be in there as a coach. Who are the other ones? Pau Gasol, Tony Parker, and WNBA legend Becky Hammond are your Hall of Fame class.
So they're in.
They are in. I believe they are in. It says they're
group.
finalists, but being elected into the Hall of Fame.
Where's Ginobili?
Is he already in, or did he not?
I don't know, but if you put in Tony Parker, I feel like they would say Parker and Popovich.
Yeah.
Where's Ginobili?
He stayed a little longer than Parker, didn't he?
I don't care. You put them all three in together.
Did you? And remember, it's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. The NBA doesn't have their own NBA Hall of Fame. It's the basketball. So you're in there with college play, all kinds of stuff.
Men, women, college, everything.
It's way easier. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier to make the Basketball Hall of Fame than any other sport because of how inclusive it is with everything. But if you were to take anybody off this list, let's go with just the NBA players. I don't want to compare Becky Hammond to those guys. It's a different deal. But if we're going with Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, Pau Gasol, Tony Parker, because I heard someone this morning say that it's too easy to get in the Basketball Hall of Fame. When I was thinking, I was like, who would you take out? Who would you take out of that list? Dwayne, Dirk, Pau, Tony Parker.
Pau.
Why? Why would you take him out over guys
because I had to pick somebody. I mean, Dwayne Wade, great player.
One of the greatest shooting guards of all time.
Won some championships.
Or whatever.
He won one without LeBron too. Don't say it's just LeBron was there. He got one before LeBron got to town. Dirk Nowitzki's like one of my favorite players ever. That ring they got in 2011 when they beat Dwayne Wade in the Heat, no one had him picked at all. I mean, one of the most random group of dudes to win a title in a major sport in the last 20 years.
I pulled for them so hard in that championship.
I did too. I love that 2011 playoffs.
They swept
every
the
single
Lakers
game
that year.
Dude, Dirk was unconscious out there. Tony Parker was a hell of a player for those Spurs teams, that Spurs dynasty that, I mean, Tony Parker was a part of all of them except for that championship in 99. So I don't take him out. Pop, the head coach of all that, of course you can't take him out. I mean, Powell was a good player. He won some championships with the Lakers, but no one's going to say that was Powell's team. That was Kobe. They had other parts too. Very good player.
So what if I were to tell you that Tony Parker and Pau Gasol, if you added up how many NBA All-Star games appearances they had, them together, Dwayne Wade still has more than them combined?
I can believe that.
Tony Parker and Pau Gasol only went to 6 All-Star games apiece. And
Who had more?
They both went to 6 each.
Oh, 6 each. Okay.
They went to 6 each. So Tony Parker was also, he was a 4-time champion. Pau won 2. But Tony Parker was a 3-time All-NBA second team. Pau was a 2-time All-NBA second team, 2-time third team. And Parker was a 1 all-time NBA third team. It's a lot closer than you think, man.
It is.
So
No, I could see the arguments going the other way.
for sure. It's way, way closer. And then, of course, Dwayne Wade wouldn't take him or Dirk. It wouldn't take any of them out. Powell was that piece that they added that put them over the hump once Shaq left and finally got Kobe back into winning rings. And Kobe was hands down the best player on that team.
Plus, this is the Basketball Hall of Fame, so they're factoring in international play, playing with, like just years. What did he play for, Barcelona or something like that?
He played for the Spanish national team.
But the Spanish national team had a run there with the Gasols, and they had Rudy Fernandez, Ricky Rubio. They were them and Ginobili with Argentina were like some really good basketball teams there in the 2000s.
And then Tony Parker played in France.
Played for France. Very good player there. He had a lot of hair. Then he didn't.
I only like to remember my Tony Parker without hair.
How do you like your?
I like my Tony
Do you
Parker.
like your Ginobili with hair?
No, I like my Ginobili shaved head too.
I think I like my Ginobili with hair, and I like my Parker without it.
I like my Parker without hair for sure. Prefer my Tony Parker without hair. Tim Duncan, prefer my Tim Duncan with hair.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too.
And then the last thing I wanted to bring up here, another basketball thing. I saw this.
How is his bust going to look? Will his bust have hair?
Whose?
Nah, don't worry about it. Dumb question. Keep going. Sorry.
Which one? Tony Parker?
Either one.
Tony Parker's needs no hair on his bust.
Okay, sorry.
So we've got the college basketball tournaments happening, the NCAA tournaments happening. The women's tournament's happening, and Iowa and Louisville had like a really classic game in the Elite Eight to decide the Final Four the other day. What's the girl's name who played for Louisville? The Van Lith girl. She'd been like really mouthy here lately and like had this kind of like Kobe-ish attitude. It was really cool to watch her, but she got beat by the girl from Iowa, Caitlin Clark, who had like a 40-point triple-double in this game. I mean, she was incredible. And it's the most watched women's college basketball game that's not a Final Four game ever. So anything that happened before the Final Four, it's the most watched game. In fact, and this, again, just to point out to everyone that was mad. Again, I don't sit here and watch a ton of women's basketball, but we had this conversation the other day when people were like, why does ESPN keep putting women's college basketball on their homepage? Why do we have to keep looking at the tournament? What's their tournament? They're advertising that the tournament games are on their television station. The men's tournament are not, so they're advertising it that way. That game, that Elite Eight game between Iowa and Louisville in women's college basketball was the most watched game on ESPN, more so than any ESPN NBA game this year. That game on ESPN did better ratings than any ESPN NBA game all season long.
I don't think there's a regular season I care less about than the NBA's.
And I think fans, and myself included, are partially to blame for that. It's easier to do this in football because in football, I mean, we put the emphasis on championships in every sport. If you're you want to be one of the best ever, you want to be a Hall of Famer, you got to win championships. That put Eli Manning over the hump, winning 2 championships, right? People think Phillip Rivers is still kind of on the teetering line because he never won a championship. But in football, you only have 16, now 17 regular season games to win a championship. So that one game, Matt, like you lose one game, you throw 5 picks in one game, people start to view you differently, right? In the NBA, it's the same thing in terms of we view your resume based on championships. Michael, Kobe, LeBron, Steph Curry and all their championships, Kevin Durant, his championships with the Warriors. However, in order to get there, we have to get through 82 regular season games. We don't care about those. We want to get you in the playoffs. That's when we care. And then the playoffs take 2 months. So, but it's partially the season being too long and things like that, the games and all. There are plenty of other factors, but we are, and how we view the athlete's legacy is part to blame because we put all the emphasis on championships. We don't put any emphasis on the regular season.
Yeah, and that emphasis on championship forced the whole, we got to have a big 3 in order to compete for a championship, which really watered down a portion of the league. Mm-hmm. I mean, that first round of the playoffs, that 1 versus 8, that 2 versus 7, sometimes the 3 versus 6. blowouts. Like you did not even a point of watching the first round. You knew what was going to happen. Really, no point even watching until conference finals. Some of those years you knew exactly who was going to get there.
Or the NBA final for 4 years in a row. You knew it was going to be Cavs Warriors.
Yeah. So I mean that did kind of water down the product, and it seems like the players are at war with their own fans too. I mean, how many times have you seen Russell Westbrook get a fan thrown out of a game?
He is public enemy number one to NBA fans that attend games.
Fans would be like, "You suck," and then Russell Wilson would be like, "Hey, throw that guy out," and then you get thrown out, and it's like, "Oh, dude, well, that guy's probably not going to go to a game again." That's a tough situation. Sometimes, a guy deserves it, but
yeah, a lot of the time
golly,
they deserve it, but not all the time. Yeah, a lot of the time they do. Yeah, you're right. Like in the first round, sometimes the most popular guy 2 years ago in the first round of the playoffs was the Suns in 4 guy.
Yeah.
That's the most memorable thing of that playoff series.
And, like load management's a big topic, too. So a lot of these guys always want breaks. And, some players are for it. Some are against, whatever.
Did you see that they're talking with, like, the Players Association and trying to put, like, a minimum amount of games if you want to win postseason awards or in-season awards, like MVP could be like you have to play a certain amount of your regular season games to be in the running to count towards MVP. I like that. Because you're talking, there's 82 games in a regular season. You say you can take 10 games off throughout the year. Sometimes you play 72 of the 82 games, or you do not qualify to be an MVP. I like that idea.
I guess, but like, is that your goal going into the season? Like, I better play 70 so I can get MVP, or are you going to be like, we should probably win enough games to get to the playoffs?
Yes, agreed.
That shouldn't be factored into your decision making. Like, I better get 70 in so I can win the comeback player of the year.
But don't you agree? The more games your best player plays, the better chance you have of getting into the playoffs.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they kind of go hand in hand.
I guess.
Well, yeah, I really only need to play 60 games so I can get us into the playoffs. Doesn't really work.
Yeah, we just need a 7 seed. I think I'll play 50 this year.
We have the play-in now. We really only need to be the 10 seed so we can do the 2 play-in games, and we're there.
Yeah, I don't know. The NBA, though, their All-Star game stinks, too. Yeah. They got an NFL problem on their hands with the All-Star game.
Give me more Mac McClung on All-Star weekend.
Yeah. If you gave me the choice, though, between the women's tournament game and an NBA regular season, I'd take the women's tournament game.
Oh, yeah. There's something about, like, the finality to something, too, that is nice.
Oh, yeah. Plus, you got a really good player there with Iowa. South Carolina's the cream of the crop for women's basketball. Have I said that too much today? I've said that a few times, yeah.
Well, the cream rises.
I watched some Macho Man Randy Savage promos the other day. You ever see what he does? Oh, cream of the crop, brother. Cream of the crop. He's there with me and Gene, and he just keeps pulling coffee creamers out of different spots on him. He goes, me and Gene, like, cream of the crop. Let me reach behind your, creamer of the crop. But South Carolina, they're at the top. Yeah, is what I'm trying to say.
They're really good.
They're the cream of the crop, brother. Ooh, yeah. Who likes French vanilla in their coffee? Yeah, the Macho Man does.
We need to bounce so I can go watch the TV edit of Snakes on a Plane.
Yo, shout out to Jacob in the chat. He said he found the clip, and it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Look up Snakes on a Plane TV edit, the famous line. And you will understand why there are too many monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
Briscoe gets in and says, Powell's stint with the Bulls is underrated, too. He had them playing at the elite level for a couple of years. Powell's a good player, man.
Forgot about Powell with the Bulls. Mm-hmm. Hey, both good players. I wouldn't take either of them out. Quality players. They're not that MJ, LeBron, Kobe tier of Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Kareem, Magic, Larry, those guys. But
can we do an overhaul of Hall of Fames? Like whether it's NFL, NBA, or basketball Hall of Fame or MLB Hall of Fame, like just getting into the Hall. I don't want to diminish getting into the Hall of Fame, but everybody knows there are tiers in the Hall of Fame. There's legend status. There's just enough to be in the Hall of Fame, just enough to be great.
When you asked that, I was like, should there be tiers? It is weird because there definitely is.
There should be because
Tony Parker and Michael Jordan are not the same caliber player.
At the very bare minimum, if you're a Hall of Famer, you were a great player. You're in the Hall of Fame. But there are people who are not limited by – it's like the dunk contest. The limit's of 50, but there are dunks that are better than 50s.
Yeah, right.
And they're in the same category other dunks that aren't 50s. You know what I mean? This guy's a Hall of Famer, but he's not just great. He's an all-time – he's the best. it needs to be tiered up. We need to tier the Hall of Fame. Unpopular opinion, but we should tier it. All right, that's going to do it for us today. We will be back on Friday, where we will be able to recap baseball's opening day tomorrow. The Angels open tomorrow night. I'm going to have to watch more Angels baseball now, and they play late games because they're on the West Coast.
Good luck.
So they open with the A's tomorrow. This was interesting. Just another tidbit about Angels opening day. Since 2013, they've only won one opening day game. They're 31-31 all time in opening day games.
Wow.
And they will open tomorrow with a chance to win their second opening day game in 3 years. They won it in 2021 against the White Sox, but they haven't won it. That's the only opening day game they've won since 2013.
Hey, let's go get a dub. Let's go get a dub.
Go, baby. Shohei will be out
Let's get
there.
a little panda blood out there. Let's get a W.
9 p.m. local time. Oh, Hoppy, you're going to be on my screen, buddy. All right.
You'll be on mine the next morning.
We'll be back on Friday. Of course, we'll preview the Final Four then as well. We'll get you ready for Panda Baseball. We are 8 days away from opening our third.
That's a week plus one, folks.
It's a week plus one, baby. We are a week plus one from opening our third our third season here in the Rocket
My God,
City.
the first time in baseball history. Not the second, but the third inauguration.
We're so good. We have to keep inaugurating or something.
Hey, man. That'd be cool. I think that'd be a fun little gimmick. Yeah, come on out for the 54th inaugural season for the Trash Bin.
I still want Toyota Field Terry, the raccoon. That's our version of Groundhog's Day. 8 more weeks till baseball. Thanks,
Terry. If anyone finds a little raccoon between now and February, get your boy up.
I'm Tony Mack. That's Tricky Ricky. We will be back on Friday from 2 to 3. It is the Bullpen.
You want to go try to trap a couple raccoons later?
Yeah.
Cool.
Find them in the daytime. They're feistier.
Do they like cheese?
They like most human food. They hold it in their little hands. They
Oh,
cup
my
it.
God. It's
Oh,
going to be
cute.
so cute. I won't even want to, box them up.
I heard the ones you find in the daytime are rabid, though.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah.
Never mind. You just want to go bowling or something instead?
Yeah. What about that 5 a.m. run? I never see you out there.